Hello and welcome back to the Hero Atlas reading. Doing another take because the music was too loud. Now the music might be too quiet. Let's go. This is your host coming to you live from the gay, the from the gay. Today's readings will be Slark, Snapfire, Sniper, Spectre, and Spirit Breaker. So without further ado, let's begin.
Nightcrawler.
Most people don't even know what what crimes Slark committed. We're just pressing through. I don't care. Said the slithering guard, who had agreed to speak with me on the condition of anonymity. The ones who do know say they're too gruesome to talk about. We're sitting in the rubble of an old inn in the Shade Shore ruins. While the slithering guard are fearsome and brave, my source startles at every rustling noise. He's not like us, he shudders. We're powerful, but he's vicious and cunning. For years, Slark's malice had been contained. He had been imprisoned in Dark Reef, an impregnable sunken prison where hope seeps in and nobody gets out. Nobody, that is, until Slark. He'd attempted a jailbreak once and before barely even stopped. He'd been in prison for half a lifetime before he got his next chance at a jailbreak, joining up with a dozen other inmates. I don't think he joined because they have a good plan, guard said. He made his own plan, and then he used theirs as a distraction. He knew they were going to fail. He thinks Slark might have been the reason. But I don't know what that vicious little gillsucker did to get put in here, he says. But if you're ever in jail, and there's a jailbreak, he'd be the one I'd follow. Good kind.
You need something blowed up or gunned down? You come to the
Snap.
right place.
Mortimer. Making things that blow up your enemies, that ain't hard. Get down, Mortimer, says Beatrix Snapfire. We're sitting in a ramshackle shed in the middle of a searing desert of Nenark, surrounded by half-built contraptions made using half-broken tools. I point out that exploded sheds of our neighbors would suggest making ordnance isn't as easy as she claims. It's easy with anyone with a lick of sense, she corrects herself. Down, Mortimer. More tea, dear? Her giant pet finally stops licking my face long enough for me to decline her offer. The tea's a bit the pea is a bit too peppery for my tastes. Still better than the cookies, which are far too peppery for my taste. Folks round here, they ain't got much sense. Beatrix shakes her head. Lucky for them, me and Mortimer down. With that, she starts welding a long metal pipe to some rusted piece of scrap that somehow looks even older than her. What they all forget is the powder goes in last. She tuts as an explosion rocks the near distance. Good kind.
I call the shots around here.
Sniper! Cardell refused to give me an interview unless I played this silly, potentially suicidal game with him. Walking 100 paces from him, I held up a fragment of paper torn from my journal with a roughly sketched face. Before I could blink, a shot buzzed above me, leaving a hole in the center of the target. Go back another 100 paces, he shouted. I ripped out another page and walked even further back. Once again, it went straight through. Walk even more! I did. No, farther! I could barely see him anymore, let alone hear him. Once again, the shot was clean. As we later talked over ale, Cardell confessed his struggle with being a Keen who was distrusted even by other Keen due to some preposterous prophecy. Most people only acknowledge him when they had a heavy purse and needed someone killed. With me, of all people, Cardell had found a brief respite from his loneliness. Mossgrave.
What is this place?
Spec. For years, the tribes of Asmodeer and Mudurel warred. Their battles stretched across the hard sands of the Rue lands. It seemed no truce could be brokered until suddenly one was. The twin chieftains met in a large tent, town hall of sorts, in the settlement where the two sides now lived in uneasy but forced harmony. Was no end fighting, said Asmodai chief. Fight never end until one side gone. His face dropped. Until her. From what I gathered, Mercurial the Spectre was drawn to their unending conflict, the shadowy being simply appeared one day in the middle of a particularly bloody battle. Men start to die, Mada Chief said wide-eyed. No blade, no arrow, just die. She make men die. Shadows gripped the warriors, their own blades turned against them, many went mad. Helpless, the warring tribes agreed to a hasty truce. She sent by one true god, Rakazal, to tell us not to fight, the Asmodai chief said. No, shouted Madar, the Madar chief angrily. Sent by one true god, Ektobar. As their voices grew louder, more strident, I left them to hash out their latest disagreement. Good kind.
I'll break their spirits and their backs.
Hey, yo. Spirit Breaker. I passed a demolished merchant caravan just east of the Kalbadar Oasis. I was following a set of deep hoof prints, only half hope that they would lead me to Barathrum the Spirit Breaker. Human footprints scattered in every other direction. The caravan had been carrying treasures of great value, gemstones, jewelry, fine carpets, now strewn among the debris. They'd been abandoned in favor of the merchants' lives. Barathrum was scraping dirt off his hooves when I approached as cautiously as I could. It was the master's bidding, he replied when I asked why he'd laid waste the caravan. If the master bids, it is done. I asked who his master was. He gazed skyward. His prolonged silence made it unclear whether he himself knew, but very clear that even if he did, he wasn't about to tell me. I am but an envoy, he said finally and proudly. Destruction brings me no joy unless it is his service. His eyes darkened. The master says you may live. This was good news. I smiled. If you leave now. I decided to not linger with goodbyes and broke into a sprint. There was no way to actually outrun him if he decided to give chase, obviously, but it was a gesture of respect it was a gesture of respect to let him know that he wouldn't have to chase me. Good kind. Those are our 5 for today. We got to see Mortimer. I like Mortimer. That's a good lizard. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all in the next one. Good evening.